What's up everybody, AJ Cannon here from the Disc Cannons. This is what's in my bag. Now typically I'd poke fun at people for doing in the bag videos, especially people who aren't professional disc golfers, because who cares what you're throwing. But I've been known to watch many of those videos, I'm sure you have too, and I figured if you're gonna watch us throw some shots, if you're gonna be a subscriber, you might just be interested in what we're throwing as well. So that's what we're gonna do today. Just wanna start off by saying, I don't have a big arm, I'm not a big distance guy. Max distance on forehand and backhand, probably 350, 360, maybe a little bit more on occasion. But I would definitely consider myself to have a slower, maybe more understable bag than a lot of people, even in my skill level. Definitely not a beginner bag by any means, but I would definitely say on the slower, more understable side of the spectrum. I want to start with some non-disc related essentials, things that are real important to my game that aren't discs. First off would be the new Idiosyncrasy disc golf shoes, the first shoe optimized for disc golf, I believe. Kind of a high price tag when they first came out, so I was a little skeptical on trying them. I have pretty sensitive feet and ankles, and I like to know how something's gonna feel, know how it's gonna perform for me before I spend a lot of money on a shoe. But my mom was kind enough to get me these for Christmas, and I've been very impressed. Lots of grip, haven't had any slippage, wet grass, slick tee pads, nothing like that, haven't been slipping. Reinforced where they need to be, a little toe drag area here. They're just really solid and strong, breathable but waterproof. I haven't probably submerged my foot wearing them, but in the wet grass, just standard wet conditions, even in the snow, they kept my feet completely dry, so real impressed with that. And also the insoles are great, structure and support's good, super comfortable to wear all day. Couldn't be more impressed with the Idiosyncrasies. Next is my Bushnell rangefinder. I got these shortly after they came out with the disc golf ones. Handy to have in the bag if you're playing an unfamiliar layout or a course that you don't know where maybe the tee signs are a little inaccurate, or even really useful in field work if you want to range a target, a tree or something, and measure off a 300-foot shot, 200-foot shot. You can do that with this. Also just fun if somebody in your group throws a bomb, you want to measure their throw or something like that. Really cool to have in the bag, handy to have around. Next is this handy dandy disc cleaner. I'd actually supported Disc Raptor on Kickstarter when they first came out with it, but I never actually bought one. This is not a legit Disc Raptor, but serves the same purpose. It's really cool. Just hang it off your bag, really portable and compact, doesn't get in the way. I carried this around in the snow, just standard early morning wet conditions. It's great for keeping your disc dry without dragging a towel around. Last but not least, the bag itself. I've got a Dynamic Discs Paratrooper. I think Dynamic Discs makes the best lineup of bags. They've got all different styles and sizes, but all of them are really well designed. Always really good structure, support, comfortable. They got a lot of padding, wide straps, comfortable to wear all day. And one of my favorite things about this bag is these side pockets. There's one on each side, and they're way bigger than they look. They blow up and expand out pretty good. I've carried jackets, hoodies, shorts, socks, all kinds of stuff in these side pockets. A lot of extra storage there, really handy. And then also it's got these 2 cup holder pockets on the outside. So you can roll up a towel, roll up a hoodie or jacket. If you have your raincoat with you or something, roll it up, stick it in that pocket. Really handy, and there's 2 of them, so you can still carry your water bottle and a jacket or towel or whatever you want to put in the other side. All right, now, what we've all been waiting for, the discs. Let's get into it. We'll start off with the putters. The Dagger. I've been putting the Dagger for 6-8 months, maybe a little bit longer. Malachi, the other half of the Disc Cannons, he turned me onto these. He was putting them for a while. Really liking them. I putted Keystones for years, my whole career. I've got a couple right here, the ones I like to throw, the early run Keystones. Something changed about the mold after this run right here. They didn't feel as good to me, so I putted these older ones for a long time. I quit making as many putts with them. Holding over to the right more than I wanted. Definitely not dependable in the wind. Couldn't put a lot of spin on them without them wanting to turn. Don't know if it was me, the discs, whatever. It was time to change something. So I finally swapped over to the daggers. Didn't like how they felt in the hand that much, is why I was scared of them, but they went in. I make a lot of putts with them. They're a deeper putter. I have pretty small hands, so I was scared of them at first, but developed a lot of confidence with the daggers. This is last year's, or maybe even the year before's, Ricky Wysocki Sense dagger. I got these recently. These are the new ones, 2024 Saki Bomb. Stamps are a little bit different. These feel a little bit more stable to me, but it may just be because they're new. This is my main putting putter for now. I'm interested to see how these fly after they break in. Don't throw them a lot. They're great for little approach shots if you want one to sit down pretty quick. If I want to run a basket from 100 feet, I can throw these soft hyzer and I don't have to worry about them getting on edge and rolling or skipping away. They land real soft, glide slow to the ground, land flat. I also carry this Warden. I've been throwing it a little bit lately and really like how it flies on a backhand. It's got a little bit of stability. Just flips up to flat, goes really straight. Probably be throwing it more soon in the near future. But mainly just in the bag for spin putts, low ceiling putts. If I've got a dead headwind from, I've got to make a 20, 25 footer, I'll go with the Warden. I can spin it right at the center of the basket and it'll just glide straight in. I can even put a little bit of Anheuser flex on it and it doesn't just go hard right. It'll stay pretty straight and stable up towards the basket. And then last putter, I don't throw a lot of putters, so this is my main throwing putter. It's this Thought Space Muse in Nerve plastic, real soft plastic. Great for little short approach shots. Used to be pretty overstable, but it's gotten to where it's real just straight to stable. If I throw it hard and flat, it'll turn a little bit. Just a real workable approach putter. Next is the approach discs, primarily for forehand approaches. Mainly what I throw is forehand approaches unless I have no other option. Got this Star Rat, really beat up. It's been chewed on by a dog at some point. It's really flippy. Throw probably 80% of my forehand approach shots with this disc. Glides a little bit, enough to get some distance, but it likes to get to the ground. I can throw it on about any angle. If I want a big turning to the left forehand, flex out around something, it just pans real slow and flattens out. It lands flat, doesn't skip. The complement to that is this Star Toro. Really overstable, throw it into the wind. Flexes if I want something to reliably come back to the right on forehand. Really good for that. Lands pretty soft, doesn't skip a lot. Great to have overstable approach putter in the bag. Throw this on the other 20% of shots when I'm not throwing the Rat. And then this has been in and out of the bag a few times over the years. Had it a long time. Latitude 64 Caltrop. Zero hard plastic. It's got a lot of glide. I throw it mainly on backhands if I've got like a putter shot into the wind. I can throw this pretty far, pretty straight, even in some wind. Doesn't come out of the bag a lot, but if I need a little flex backhand through the woods or just something to hold up in the wind on a putter shot, I can go for the Caltrop. Next up is the mid-ranges. You'll notice that I throw a lot of Innova discs. It's not because I think there's anything particularly great about Innova. I just think that they're easier to find. Almost every store that sells discs will have Innova discs, especially out here where I live. There's not a lot of places that do sell discs. Ones that do will only carry one or two manufacturers, and you're almost always going to find Innova. So they're easy to get, usually a good variety of them. And there's just consistency across the molds for me. I know based off the numbers, the feel of the disc. I've had so many of them. I know which ones are going to be good. I know what they're supposed to feel like. So it's easy to find what I need or a replacement for what I need, and I've just grown accustomed to them. I'm really attached to the Innova products. In saying that, I don't think Innova has that great of mid-ranges. I do have mostly Innova mid-ranges, but it's taken me a long time to find ones that I really liked, that fit the slots where they're supposed to. I'm not a big rock guy. I do have a rock that I throw. I have a lot of rocks. But they just never seem to do exactly what I want them to do. It doesn't fit my game, I guess, the best. This one rock that I do have, super flippy DX rock, DX Glow rock. I think it was originally full weight. I found it in the woods, and it's very beat up. It's very old. Got a stamp from 2017 from some tournament, but couldn't do without it in the bag. Super flippy. I can throw it on hyzer, flip all the way up to turn. Really glidey. Has a little bit of integrity. It doesn't just turn into a roller. If I give it the right height, it'll just flip up, fly really straight, float over to the right, drifty shots through the woods. When I throw it right, it's beautiful. I really like this disc, and it's been in the bag a long time. Flippiest mid-range. On to the next, another Innova, the Lion. Well, it's 175. Originally bought at Walmart, I think. DX plastic. Obviously not the most durable, beats up, but that's what I like about it. They're fun, they feel good in the hand, even in sweaty, rainy conditions. DX plastic feels good. This one's got a lot of scuffs taken out of it. I'm sure it's flippier than it originally was. I throw it on real straight shots, flip up to flat, but not really turn. It's got a little bit of integrity. Not gonna throw it into the wind. But for just straight laser beam shots, I go for the Lion. This has been flying real good for me lately. And then, one of my favorite discs in the bag right now. I just picked this up. I'm not big on Signature Series, Tour Series discs, the latest prototype stuff. I like the old standbys. I'm not standing in line to buy Tour Series discs when they come out, but I saw this Proto Glow Star Dennis Augustin Tour Series Crow, had to have it. I've had a few Crows over my career and I love them. I always lose them and they're kind of hard to find. But when I saw this, I was like, the Crow, that is what I need. I've struggled to find a slightly overstable mid-range that I could throw really backhand and forehand with, trust into the wind. That's the main thing I've struggled with Innova mid-ranges especially, is capability to handle wind. But this Crow right here, it's overstable, but it's not just gonna dump. I can throw it backhand and forehand into the wind. Haven't thrown it a ton yet on the course, but 2 throws in the yard and I knew it was going in the bag. And the throws I have had on the course with it have been good. Last but not least, more utilitarian than anything else, is this Moonshine Justice. Super flat, super hard, super skippy. Mostly forehands with this, but any kind of big flex. If I need to throw on a lot of anhyzer, backhand or forehand, throw some kind of weird S-turn through the woods or stretched out around a tree or something on approach shots, I can go with the Justice. I can super flex it. You don't even have to give it any height. It's gonna come back on hyzer and it's gonna skip. So really useful to have on approach shots, especially in windy conditions. I don't pull this out a lot, but when I do, I'm in a pinch and I need it. Next is the fairway drivers. I throw a ton of fairway drivers, a couple different speeds. So I'm gonna break these up into 2 sections of the 7 speeds and the 9 speeds. Those are my 2 favorite speeds of discs to throw probably. And I have a lot of them. So we're gonna start with the 7 speeds. Actually, this is a 6 speed. DX, Innova DX Leopard. I believe this was a Walmart find originally. It was originally 175 full weight. It's probably 155 now, who knows. Extremely flippy. Really just utilitarian, much like that Justice is super overstable. This is super understable. If I need something to flip up off of steep hyzer and flip over and turn, or I need a little short forehand that I want to flip up and glide pretty straight, 200 feet at the most, I might reach for this. And when this comes out of the bag, I'm in a bind. And just really like it. I've thrown some great shots with this thing from some impossible spots. Couldn't really do without it in the bag. Next is one of my favorite discs, this Champion Leopard 3. It's been in the bag for years. It's pretty beat up, still has a little bit of integrity. If I throw it on a fan grip, I can throw it pretty flat and straight, maybe flip up just a hair. If I throw it on power grip, it'll turn, or it'll flip up a lot and turn. So real versatile for me in the woods. I even throw forehand flip ups with it sometimes if I want something to flip up and turn with a little bit more integrity. That's this right here. Goes really far, really straight. One of the best flying discs for me. Next is a new one, this Innova Hawkeye. It's a 171, but has decent integrity. It's a little bit more stable than the Leopard 3. You throw it on a power grip, flat and straight. It just goes real straight for a long time. I've really liked having this in the bag for a short time. Can't wait to see when I get it worked in what it does for me. but I've really liked the glide and just the pretty dependable stability at the end of the flight. You got a real soft finish. Last but not least, in the 7 speeds, you got to have a T-Bird if you're an Innova guy. I've never been a big T-Bird guy, but they're pretty overstable for me. I can throw a lot of different shots with this thing. It doesn't come out of the bag a lot, but I can throw it into a headwind, or I can throw it flat to anhyzer and get some flex and turn. Real glidey, but real dependable finish. Gotta have one of these in the bag. I even throw it on some shorter shots where I would normally throw a mid-range. If there's wind or if I want to bear down and throw a hyzer, I'll go with this right here. All right, the next slot is the 9 speeds. Me having a slower arm, I feel like this is a pretty crucial slot for me. I get a lot of distance out of 9 speeds. They're kind of my most dependable disc. So I got a few here. Firstly, most understable is this Star Sidewinder. It's only 167 grams, but it's got quite a bit of stability. It doesn't turn into a roller or anything. I can flip it up to a little bit of turn. It's pretty glidey. It's got a dependable finish. Obviously not going to throw it into the wind, but just dependable distance for me. Something I can easily flip up and get a lot of glide out of. Also, good on forehands. I didn't think so. I threw it yesterday on a forehand and it was beautiful. So I may be throwing this on some more flip up forehands when I need something to go real straight and with a little bit of finish. Then I have these 2 Valkyries. I actually have a third one too. It's not in the bag right now. G-Star Valkyrie. These 2 are a lot alike as far as stability. I really like this one. I think I can get a little bit more turn out of it, a little bit more flip up. This one's maybe a hair more stable. These are interchangeable. I could throw either one. The G-Star, I like it a little better in the winter because it's firmer. When it gets hot, it's going to be like a rubber tire in my hand. So I like to stick to this one. Really like this one for just pretty straight, a little bit of finish. I can get a little flip and turn out of it. And then this one, the Star one, is lighter. Yeah, it's only a 167, but it's really stable. I can throw it flat. It'll always finish left. Doesn't have a lot of turn. I can throw it into the wind. Really like this one. Got a lot of dome to it. All right, the next slot, 10 speeds. Some people call them distance drivers. Some people would say it's more of a fairway driver. It's right in between. Control driver, hybrid driver, whatever you want to call it. I only carry a couple. This Beast, Barry Schultz Beast, it's gotten really flippy on me lately. I primarily throw forehands with it, but I throw some backhands with it too. It'll flip up quite a bit. It'll turn a lot. It's got a little bit of integrity, almost always finishes. I won't throw it into the wind that much, but tailwinds, crosswinds, whatever, it goes really far for me on forehands. I can get a lot of distance and a lot of glide out of this one. And when this one won't do the trick, there's a headwind or something, or if I need more stability, I'm going for this Star Orc. I've always had a Star Orc in the bag as long as I can remember. Primarily forehands, every now and then throw a backhand with it. But I can throw it really flat to even a little bit of anhyzer, and it'll push a little to the left, and it always comes back to the right with quite a bit of skip, a lot of stability. I couldn't really do without this in the bag. I throw it quite a bit. Got 2 more here that are more utilitarian. Star Invictus, really overstable, but quite a bit of glide. Throw it forehand and backhand just when I need something real stable. If there's wind or I just need something to get over pretty far to the left or right. Mostly throw it on forehands. I can skip it. Throw it real hard, low ceiling shots. Very dependable to stay on hyzer and get a big skip or get a big finish. And then super overstable board flat Star Firebird. I've had this thing a long time and it is just like a brick. I mean, it's hard as a rock. The rim is really thick and hard. And I can throw this thing as hard as I want on any angle, and it's always going to come back to hyzer. It doesn't go very far at all. Probably can't throw it more than 250, but it's always coming back. You can count on that in any kind of wind. There's no wind too strong for this Firebird. All right, lastly is the distance drivers, which has been more of a finicky position for me. Since I don't have a ton of arm speed, it's hard for me to find discs that will flip up and turn. That's not my strong suit. If I'd get more understable stuff and throw it how I like to throw it, I throw it too flat. They burn out. It's just been a real in-between issue for me. But I've got a pretty good selection here. I've spent a lot of time with just 2 distance drivers in my bag, 2 or 3. Right now I have 4 because I'm trying some different stuff out. But I really like what I do have here. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be going with from now on. Starting with the flippiest. If you watch our videos, you've seen me throw this a bunch. It's a Star Turn, full weight, really domey. Straight out of the box, this thing flew great. It's got a lot of integrity for a flippier, more understable disc. I can throw it on forehand and backhand, get some flip with some integrity, a ton of glide. I throw this thing super far. It's my furthest disc. If I don't have even with a headwind, I can throw this thing, but if I don't have a headwind, I'm definitely throwing it. Into a headwind, I might select something else, but it does actually have enough integrity to throw into a headwind. You just have to be a little bit more careful with it. Favorite driver ever. Next, I've got this Prodigy X2. This used to be just a staple in my bag. I haven't had it in the bag for a while, but I recently put it back in, and it's pretty great. It's very beat up. Originally was really overstable, obviously. I had no idea when I bought it what this thing was supposed to do. It was very early on in my career. But I quickly figured out I could throw some big flex forehands with it, and that's still pretty much what it does. It'll flip up to flat, turn a little bit, has a lot of glide, but it is trying to get to the ground. It does have it's got a lot more stability than the turn and a little less glide. So if I got a headwind or just a little bit of unpredictable wind, I'll throw this over the turn just to make sure I know that it's gonna come back. Next is this Star Destroyer, Ricky Wysocki Star Destroyer 170. Forehand and backhand, mostly forehand, but I can throw backhands with it too. This is my wind disc. If there's too much wind for the turn, I'll throw this Destroyer. Can't throw it very far. It's pretty stable for me. Forehands, I can throw a pretty big flex with it, but really just got it in the bag for wind fighting purposes. Last but not least is this Royal Rive. Malachi gave me this. He really likes the Rive. I don't quite have the arm speed for it, but if there's a really strong wind and I need a far stable forehand, I can go for the Rive. Don't really throw it on backhands, but I can give it a lot of torque, and it just has a ton of stability. Really stable disc for me. When I'm throwing it, it's because there's a wind or I need a really big skip from quite a bit of distance. That's the bag. So if you see me throw some shots, you see videos of us out on the course, you'll have a little bit better understanding of what I'm throwing, why I'm throwing it. I've got a pretty good selection of discs. I'm real comfortable with my bag right now. Don't see a lot changing in the near future, but you know, we're disc golfers. We're always looking for the next thing, always looking for that new disc. So I'm sure things will change. When it does, you'll know, but this is pretty much the staples, what I've been throwing for a while. Hope you enjoyed watching. We'll see y'all out there on the course real soon.